All right, welcome to Black Swan Revelations. My name is Shane, and today we are going to be talking about why Ukraine is going to be the most powerful nation in the world. The most powerful nation in the world. And it starts, of course, with President Zelensky. So we're going to be talking about this. So if you are an investor and you're like, which country should I invest in over the next few years? Um, I don't care if you agree with me or don't agree with me. One day Ukraine will rebuild. One day they will bounce back. They're going to rebuild everything. But the difference is you're going to help them rebuild it, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to explain it. Actually, instead of explaining it, why don't I just show you the video where President Zelensky himself shares his plan? Because again, if you don't pay attention, you're going to miss this. You're going to miss it. If you're a Christian, I encourage you to pray before I show you this speech. Just a quick little prayer. Just say, Lord, protect my mind, open up my heart, my thoughts, so that I can understand what's really going on. And then you can decide if you agree or disagree with me. But I want to show you what President Zelensky himself has said. And on the surface, it isn't a bad idea. Meaning, there's some concepts that he's going to be talking about what he wants to do, like the idea of feeding people. That's not a bad idea. The idea of creating a world police force to stop the bad guys, that's not a bad idea. But if one country can do it within 24 hours and stop any nation, including United States, including China, including Russia, within 24 hours, that should cause you to think a little bit. That should cause some flags to go up. Okay, who's going to be in charge of this new superpower? And that's going to be President Zelensky. He's not a big fan of NATO. He's not a fan of the UN. This is why he's calling this new program U24, meaning if there is a food shortage anywhere in the world, U24 would be able to send food there in less than 24 hours, anywhere in the world. And if there is a rogue country that steps out of line, forces will be deployed inside 24 hours. Do you understand that? What that means? This is what he's proposing. Now, I understand he has a bit of a thick accent when it comes to English. So in this video, there's actually a translator for him. And if you want to watch the entire speech, you can watch it online. It's the speech that President Zelensky gave virtually to the U.S. Congress, and Nancy Pelosi introduces him. So this is about 17 minutes, so it's not too long. Every once in a while, I might stop it just to reinforce the idea of what President Zelensky has just said. And then that way you can go, okay, well, Shane's not making this stuff up. We just heard it. But it's buried within the media. It's buried. There's so much stuff going on with Israel. There's earthquakes going on all over the world. You will miss this. And this is why I bring it up. And then I let you decide from there. This is important. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you a case, the case of why President Zelensky wants to rule the world. Because other government agencies are failing, according to Zelensky, and there's nothing in place right now that can stop the bad guys. So in the name of peace, I need you to give me all of your money, all of your resources to me. And then if you run out of food, I can get you food within 24 hours. But there's going to be some conditions attached to that. This is why I say Ukraine is going to come out on top of this whole thing. And most people are like, oh, it's the US, China, Russia, all these other countries. But I believe Ukraine is going to come out on top. Ukraine is going to be a force to reckon with, whether good or bad. Whether good or bad. You cannot deny that they will be a force to reckon with. And they'll be right up there at the top with the United States, with Russia, with China as a superpower, a global superpower. They'll be at the top of the food chain. So let's go to this speech. Let's watch it.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Madam Ambassador, who is with us this morning. Madam Ambassador. Ambassador Makarova. Mr. President, it is my honor to present to you the Congress of the United States, which has great respect and admiration and appreciation for your courageous leadership. Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky. Slava Ukraina! Slava Ukraina!
All right, so glory to Ukraine basically is what Nancy Pelosi said. So think about it. This is before the Congress. So imagine this in the future where this is a regular occurrence of the world leader, one person leading the world, speaking to the whole world virtually. And if you don't tune into it, you could get fined and all kinds of stuff. And we'll talk about that later. But this is just a snapshot. And okay, let's pose this argument. Let's just say it's not President Zelensky ruling the world or Ukraine being the most powerful nation. This is the type of situation that we would see in the future. This is how it would start. And I'm just saying, just be aware. I'm saying just be aware of this. This is why we have Watchmen channels and all this stuff, because the media isn't going to talk about this. They're just going to push this right down. And this video may not get any views at all. It might just get squashed on YouTube. But I think it's important to talk about this. I think it's very important to talk about it. So we're going to continue.
My colleagues, Slava Ukraina. Slava Ukraina.
Glory to heroes. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, members of the Congress, ladies and gentlemen, Americans, friends, I'm proud to greet you from Ukraine, from our capital city of Kyiv, a city that is under missile and airstrikes from Russian troops every day, but it doesn't give up. And we have not even thought about it for a second. Just like many other cities and communities in our beautiful country, which found themselves in the worst war since World War II. I have the honor to greet you on behalf of the Ukrainian people, brave and freedom-loving people who for 8 years have been resisting the Russian aggression. Those who give their best sons and daughters to stop this full-scale Russian invasion. Right now, the destiny of our country is being decided. The destiny of our people, whether Ukrainians will be free, whether they will be able to preserve their democracy. Russia has attacked not just us, not just our land, not just our cities. It went.
Okay. And just to be clear, I am not denying any of this stuff that Russia has invaded Zelensky. What I want you to pay attention to is I need your money. I need your weapons because this is for your benefit. And I'm going to help bring peace to the world. So think of words like peace for you, peace for the world. We need peace. Just count how many times he says, in the name of peace, we need weapons for peace. And this lines up with Daniel, where there's a person that comes in the name of forces to make peace in the world. You just have to read the book of Daniel. So again, I just want you to pay attention to those type of words in this speech. Otherwise, you'll miss it. And pay attention when he starts talking about a united 24, a united front, which basically allows Ukraine to act anywhere in the world in less than 24 hours. This is why he asked us for $650 million last year, and we gave him a standing ovation and gave him money. This is why Americans are giving money to Ukraine to help them rebuild right now today. Just go to their website, U24, their official Ukrainian government website that asks for donations from people around the world to help Ukraine build. So this is going on right now. You can just go to their website. So think about these type of words or phrases and picture in the context of someone running the whole world. We're going to go back to this.
Went on a brutal offensive against our values, basic human values. It threw tanks and planes against our freedom, against our right to live freely in our own country, choosing our own future, against our desire for happiness, against our national dreams, just like the same dreams you have, you Americans, just like anyone else in the United States. I remember your national memorial in Rushmore, the faces of your prominent presidents, those who laid the foundation of the United States of America as it is today, democracy, independence, freedom, and care for everyone, for every person, for everyone who works diligently, who lives honestly, who respects the law. We in Ukraine want the same for our people. All that is.
All right. So in respect to respecting the law, we have to be mindful that right now Ukraine is under martial law. What does that mean? Well, at the end of March, they were supposed to have elections, but President Zelensky said it was not safe to have elections at this time. So because they're under martial law, they had no elections. And there's only really one political party, which is President Zelensky's video production company. They are his political party. He hired all his besties, all his buddies, all his friends to become part of their political party. Don't believe me? When he came into power, when he was voted in, he dissolved the political parties and created a snap election. He said, you have 30 days to form basically your political party or to get enough funding together to have an election. You have 30 days because then people are voting, and he won in a majority landslide and basically dissolved the main two political parties that were in opposition to him, that were leaning a little bit towards Russia. And they've been there for years, but he dissolved them. So now they're under martial law, which is basically, I think it takes an effect from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. and it gets renewed every 90 days. And I've mentioned to my American friends that this is going to happen in November, that you guys are most likely going to go under martial law. And if you don't believe me, then just come back to this video in the fall, because hopefully it'll be up, unless YouTube squashes it. But you could always subscribe to my channel and do a search for this video called U24, Ukraine, most powerful country in the world. Save it, download this video to your hard drive or whatever, back it up, whatever it is, and then come back to that video later, or take a screenshot, whatever. Take a screenshot of this so that you can come back, put it on your calendar, and come back 6 months from now and go, oh yeah, that's what Shane was talking about. And you might be saying, well, that's impossible for the United States. Well, that's what probably people in Ukraine thought. It was impossible, but they trusted their leadership. And martial law doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. It's been there for 2 years. They've been under martial law for 2 years. And there is no media outlet that can just come in and be a journalist. Everything has to go through Zelensky. So it's, in some ways, it's basically a dictatorship. So in the name of protecting the people. Now you can pose an argument. Do people want it? Do people not want it? I'm just telling you, this is what's going on right now. You have to be aware of that. All right, so we're going to go back to his speech.
Is normal part of your own life. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Americans, in your great history, you have pages that would allow you to understand Ukrainians, understand us now, when you need it right now, when we need you right now. Remember Pearl Harbor, terrible morning of December 7, 1941, when your sky was black from the planes attacking you. Just remember it. Remember September the 11th, a terrible day in 2001, when evil tried to turn your cities, independent territories, in battlefields, when innocent people were attacked from air. Yes, just like no one else expected it. You could not stop it. Our country experience the same every day, right now, at this moment, every night, for 3 weeks now. Various Ukrainian cities, Odessa and Kharkiv, Chernihiv and Sumy, Zhytomyr and Lviv, Mariupol and Dnipro. Russia has turned the Ukrainian sky into a source of death for thousands of people. Russian troops have already fired nearly 1,000 missiles at Ukraine, countless bombs. They use drones to kill us with precision. This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and we are asking for a reply, for an answer to this terror from the whole world. Is this a lot to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Is this too much to ask? Humanitarian no-fly zone, something that that Russia would not be able to terrorize our free cities. If this is too much to ask, we offer an alternative. You know what kind of defense systems we need, S-300 and other similar systems. You know how much depends on the battlefield.
Okay, so far, he's building a case. Look, and again, this is to the United States. This is to the U.S. Congress. So he's building a case saying, look, remember Pearl Harbor. Remember 9/11. This is basically our 9/11, and it's happening every night. So is it too much for us to ask to protect the skies over Ukraine with missile defense systems? He didn't say missile defense systems, but we know that he went to Israel to ask the prime minister for the Iron Dome, and the blueprints to the Iron Dome, and he was rejected because Israel has a deal with Russia that basically Russia right now owns the airspace above Syria, And if Syria attacks Israel, Israel has the right to defend itself, and Russia will turn a blind eye. They'll basically look the other way if Israel attacks Syria. That's the agreement that Israel and Russia have over the airspace over Syria. Russia's not going to stop Israel from attacking Syria if Syria attacks Israel. If any nation attacks Israel, Russia's not going to interfere. That's just like a handshake deal that they have. And Zelensky is unhappy with that deal. He's like, give us the Iron Dome so that we can defend our airspace and stop Russia. And Israel said no. So then President Zelensky left. And don't think he's happy about that. Or don't think that he's not unhappy, if that makes sense. He walked away upset, is what I'm trying to say. So now picture this as he's appealing to the world. Is it too much to ask to help us? Look what Russia's doing to us. And you could actually feel that President Zelensky is feeling isolated right now, that he's feeling rejected on every level, rejected by the UN. Because again, if Ukraine becomes part of UN, Russia's not going to like that at all, and they're going to level Ukraine. So Zelensky is between a rock and a hard place, because he thought that the US was going to basically stop Russia from invading Ukraine, because that's kind of what Biden was saying. If anybody touches Ukraine, that's it. And then when it happened, they're like, well, let's just talk about it some more. Because the same thing that's happening with Israel. There's no difference. Right now, Israel gets attacked by drones from Iran. They shoot them all down, and then they're working on a plan to retaliate, and the U.S. is saying, don't do it. Don't retaliate. But if there were several lives at stake, most people would agree, yeah, you got to retaliate, because otherwise you're going to continually be attacked. But right now, the United States is basically saying to Israel, stand down. No matter what happens, stand down. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I think this is what Zelensky is feeling, is all media now is turned over to Israel. So they're not paying attention to Ukraine. And 2 years ago, when he made this appeal to U.S. to start the U24, nobody's talking about it. He's basically being ignored. So don't think that he's wrestling with this stuff at night, late at night, going, they're ignoring me in the West. They're paying more attention to Israel. Israel's not helping me out. It's just something to think about. All right, let's get back to the speech.
On the ability to use aircraft, powerful, strong aviation to protect our people, our freedom, our land, aircraft that can help Ukraine, help Europe. And you know that they exist and you have them, but they are on earth, not in Ukraine, in the Ukrainian sky. They do not defend our people. I have a dream. These words are known to each of you. Today I can say, I have a need. I need to protect our sky. I need your decision, your help, which means exactly the same you feel when you hear the words, I have a dream. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Ukraine is grateful to the United States for its overwhelming support, for everything that your government and your people have done for us, for weapons and ammunition, for training, for finances, for leadership in the free world, which helps us to pressure the aggressor economically. I'm grateful to President Biden for his personal involvement, for his sincere commitment to the defense of Ukraine and democracy all over the world. I am grateful to you for the resolution which recognizes all those who commit crimes against Ukraine, against the Ukrainian people as war criminals. However, now, it is true, in the darkest time for our country, for the whole Europe, I call on you to do more. New packages of sanctions are needed constantly, every week, until the Russian military machine stops. Restrictions are needed for everyone on whom this unjust regime is based. We propose that the United States sanctions all politicians in the Russian Federation who remain in their offices and do not uh, uh, cut ties with those who are responsible for the aggression against Ukraine, from State Duma's members to the last official who has lack of morale to break the state terror. All American companies must leave Russia from their market, leave their market immediately because it is flooded with our blood. Ladies and gentlemen, members of Congress, please take the lead. If you have companies in your districts who finance the Russian military machine leaving business in Russia, you should put pressure. I'm asking to make sure that the Russians do not receive a single penny that they use to destroy people in Ukraine. The destruction of our country, the destruction of Europe. All American ports should be closed for Russian goods. We Peace is more important than income, and we have to defend this principle in the whole world. We already became part of the anti-war coalition, a big anti-war coalition that unites many countries, dozens of countries, those who reacted to, in principle, to President Putin's decision to invade our country. But we need to move on and do more. We need to create new tools to respond quickly and stop the war, the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, which began on February 24th. And it would be fair if it ended in a day, in 24 hours, that evil would be punished immediately.
Okay. So this you have to pay attention to. He's built his case, and now he's going to go into U24, which, again, people on my channel have been saying, I don't believe you, Shane. I don't believe what you're saying. I don't believe that President Zelensky ever said anything like this. Well, you're about to hear everything. And he's building his case that the United States, he's trying to appeal to their hearts, that they've experienced Pearl Harbor, they've experienced 9/11. And this is what's happening to us. And thank you for giving us weapons. Thank you for giving us finances, but you need to do more. You need to squash any company that supports or does business with Russia. That means anyone outside of Russia that's doing business with Russia is basically an enemy against Zelensky. So now you're going to hear his proposal, which leads me back to the title of this video, U24, Ukraine, most powerful country in the world. This is his proposal, and I need you to pay attention to what he wants to do. And again, think about the idea of having a world superpower that in less than 24 hours, you could feed people anywhere in the world. In less than 24 hours, you can extinguish a country, a rebellious country. You could take them out completely. So think about that. Here we go.
Today, the world does not have such tools. The war of the past have prompted our predecessors to create institutions that should protect us from war. But they unfortunately don't work. We see it, you see it, so we need new ones, new institutions, new alliances, and we offer them. We propose to create an association, U24, United for Peace, a union of responsible countries that have the strength and consciousness to stop conflicts immediately, provide all the necessary assistance in 24 hours, if necessary, even weapons, if necessary, sanctions, humanitarian support, political support, finances, everything you need to keep the peace and quickly save the world, to save lives. In addition, such association, such union could provide assistance to those who are experiencing natural disasters, man-made disasters, who fell victims to humanitarian crisis or epidemics. Remember how difficult it was for the world to do the simplest thing, just to give vaccines against COVID to save lives, to prevent new strains. The world spent months, years doing things.
So now you gotta you gotta keep this all in perspective from the idea that they're going to create this. Zelensky is going to create this. A united 24, which means they can do anything they want within 24 hours in the name of peace, including handing out vaccines. If you want to say the mark, go ahead and say the mark. Whatever it is, they will have the power to be able to initiate this plan in less than 24 hours. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is if you thought COVID was a bit of a problem, imagine a world superpower that could say, sorry, you got to take something in less than 24 hours. And if you don't do this, you're going to be considered an enemy. And then we can feed you in less than 24 hours. And we're going to send resources in the name of the army to help you take care of the bad guys in your country. Because you're not, like, the UN isn't able to do it right now fast enough. US isn't able to do it. No country is able to do this. So this is what Zelensky is proposing, that it could be anything. It could be medical, it could be food, it could be weapons. It could be armies actually coming in and invading a country in less than 24 hours. I keep hammering this home. You just heard him say, I'm proposing United 24, U24. So let's continue.
Like that, much faster, to make sure there are no human losses, no victims. Ladies and gentlemen, Americans, if such alliance would exist today, that is U24, we would be able to save thousands of lives in our country. In many countries of the world, those who need peace, those who suffer inhumane destruction. I ask you to watch one video of what the Russian troops did in our country, in our land. We have to stop it. We must prevent it, preventively destroy every single aggressor who seeks to subjugate other nations. Please watch the video.
Okay, so I am going to skip over it because it's pretty graphic. So let me just, let me come back to me for a second, and I'm going to just go over it real quick here. So I think they show some bodies and stuff. Yeah, I don't want to show that. I'm not trying to be, what do you call it, mysterious or whatever, but I think if you've watched the video, it's pretty horrific. And then, so what I want to do is just skip over all of that. And then I want, if you want, you can go look at it. It's called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's Appeal to U.S. Congress, Full Speech. So you just type that in and you can watch it yourself. So my point isn't to glorify war on any occasion. And I don't think that was, I don't think that's helpful to see images of bodies on the screen to appeal to you. Like, I don't think that's helpful, but Zelensky did it. And so I just skipped over that part. And now we're going to come back to his speech. Let's just go back. And you can see in the bottom says, warning, video may contain graphic images. So, of course, I'm not showing that.
And in the end, to sum it up, today it's not enough to be the leader of the nation.
It's interesting that he switches now to English. Quite interesting, right? Because he basically spoke English all the time, but he mostly, to appeal to people, spoke with the translator, but he is very good at English. He's very good at it. So now we hear him speak in English.
Today it takes to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Peace in your country doesn't depend anymore only on you and your people. It depends on those next to you, on those who are strong. Strong doesn't mean weak. Strong is brave and ready to fight for the life of his citizens and citizens of the world, for human rights, for freedom, for the right to live decently and to die when your time comes, and not when it's wanted by someone else, by your neighbor. Today, the Ukrainian people are defending not only Ukraine, we are fighting for the values of Europe and the world, sacrificing our lives in the name of the future. That's why today the American people are helping not just Ukraine, but Europe and the world to keep the planet alive, to keep justice in history. Now I'm almost 45 years old. Today my age stopped when the hearts of more than 100 children stopped beating. I see no sense in life if it cannot stop the death. And this is my main mission as the leader of my people, great Ukrainians. And as the leader of my nation, I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation, of your great nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
All right. So there you go. You heard it from Zelensky, what he wants to do. Whether or not people believe him that's not important at this point. As in, is this what he really wants to do? Rule the world? All this, is it for good? Is it bad? Whatever. The point is, he said it. That's why I'm presenting this to you. You can get mad at me for presenting something that's on YouTube, and you can get mad at me for sharing my thoughts and saying this is what he wants to do, is he wants to rebuild Ukraine and he wants to protect the world. And he's asking Biden to step up to the plate to be the world leader. And if he's not going to do it, then you could fill in the blanks as to who would step in and be a world leader. Something to think about, right? Something to think about. So I encourage you to share this video. I encourage you to give a thumbs up, leave a comment, because that actually helps boost this video in the algorithms. And I think people need to talk about this, need to talk about what's going on. Because again, as a channel called Black Swan Revelations, my job is to think outside the box and look at things from every different angle. And some people are going to get mad at that. Some people are going to get upset and unsubscribe. That's fine. That's fine. But the other day, someone said, I don't think you have any proof that President Zelensky said anything about U24. And there's a website. It's called U24. So let's just have a look at it. Because again, I don't want people just thinking that I'm just making this stuff up. So one sec, let me just. There it is, right here. All right, so let me share my screen so that you guys could know where to go. So why do I have to do all the work, right? So if you go to U24, let me just make sure you guys can see this. I'm going to make this full screen. U24. Click on it. It's all about President Zelensky, talking about his initiatives. And this is the official fundraising platform to help rebuild Ukraine. And you can donate right here, clicking and donate defense. You can help them build weapons, humanitarian demining, medical aid, rebuild Ukraine, education, and science. And these guys are the best when it comes to drone technology, and they will be the best, if they're not already, the leaders when it comes to artificial intelligence. And look at how much they've collected so far. $628 million have been donated from around the world. That's through this website. There's people donating to them. That's not mentioning the $650 million that Canadians gave him and the hundreds of millions of dollars that other countries have given Ukraine. This is their website. This is basically how you do it. This is how you rebuild Ukraine. Right here. This is how much they've collected. This is everything you need to know about why they're doing it and all this kind of stuff. All right. It's interesting they have Mark Hamill as defense. Like, this is all, what you guys don't understand is these guys are great at building brands. Who are these guys? Ukraine. President Zelensky's media company is actually his political party. They're all his buddies. He created a video production company and created a TV series. I think it was called We the People. And everybody liked it so much where he wrote a script on how he is actually the president of Ukraine. And people liked it so much that he decided, as a comedian, as an actor, why don't I actually run as president? Why don't I put my name in the hat, if you will? And he won a universal landslide just by using social media. People loved him and voted him in. But it all started with a script that he wrote, a TV series that he wrote. And he has his own video production company. And when he became the president, he brought them all in to his political party. So they are great at creating brands. All right, that's it for today's video. If you have any other questions, feel free to just leave a comment. Let me see here. If you have any questions or if there's something else that you know of, feel free to email me right here, Black Swan Diary 2022. If you want to be on my show, just send me an email, blackswanpodrequests@gmail.com. And you can be on this channel as well. If you want to support this channel, you can go to Gifts and Go, Black Swan Network. Just check that out. I have Gifts and Go there. And then what else do we have? That's pretty much it. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that clears things up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Bye for now.